Laugh out loud, it's the place to be, where geeky minds meet so naturally. From pixel legends to blockbuster heart, dive right in, let's set this vibe apart.
Laugh out loud, it's the place to be.
Yeah,
Slop right there. That started with the I slop.
That is so funny. You are the best. Everything you'll create is great. You know, it's you hear about AI. That's funny. I was working on something earlier today, and I needed some help on it. Something we're having issues with some software at work, and I was there earlier today, and I went in there and I go and email them, and I get an immediate response to my email.
Mhm.
So I'm expecting it to go and say, your email's been registered and you are on, you have ticket number, blah, 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 or whatever. It's an AI response. And then I email it back, and then I get another immediate email, and I actually had this really inconvenient conversation with this AI. But then I pull out my AI on the phone, and this thing now talks to you as if you were having an actual conversation with a human being, with and then shit like that, just thrown in.
Yeah, that's
It's
not cool.
I was like, I even said, you know how scary it is the way you just talk like a normal person, and I get that a lot.
Mhm. You know, I was watching a video, and I'm learning that now. YouTube. Okay, so I'm sorry. This is gonna make me happier than you can imagine. YouTube is now gonna demonetize any videos that use AI. Good.
I'm not really sure what the rules are on that, because that might end up affecting us down the road too, because there was more than just that. It was the vague rules of if you use because one of them was if you're using someone else's material, and I'm like, well, when we're doing movie reviews, yeah, the visuals all from the movie, but it's all these really short clips, and we need an actual ruling from a judge or some shit on this, because this fair use thing has to be clarified for once and for all, because there's no lines anywhere. It's whatever fair use for using our stuff is how much me and Mike consider it to be fair use. That's the rules that they're using. It's considered, Disney said it's very fair use as much as they want it to be.
Mhm.
And it should be a legal thing. It should be, everybody has this, these are the rules. Because then you have people well, I mean, he didn't do anything to us, but Tommy Wiseau with The Room, there's stories of him pulling down people's stuff because they use 2 seconds of clips from him because he said something negative about his film.
Mhm. Well, I'm gonna say this: if it affects us and demonetizes anything that we do, my answer to that is good. I don't care about the money. I'm having fun doing this.
Yeah.
I want to see AI go bye-bye.
Well, then we wouldn't have a theme song.
No, you know what? Matt and I have talked about writing a theme song, or our own theme song. So we may just do that. If it goes away, good. Matt and I will sit down and we'll break something out.
If the rules are not as bad as they could be, it could just be they don't want any more you see on TikTok all the time. These videos where they're completely AI and you could tell it's AI. You got people walking through tables and all of a sudden they pop up out of nowhere, and
Yeah, basically anything you see now is it's pretty much 90% sure guaranteed it's AI. That's where everything's going.
yeah. But we're not AI, folks. We're a bunch of critics who come at you with our opinions.
We're not AI. We're ASSES. That's hard. Wait a sec. How do you? I can't even spell that. ASSES. ASSES.
Yeah,
I
I don't know. So you wanted to talk about what's the segment you wanted to do? The regurgitation? Are we in that already?
Okay, so we're not in that yet. No. I was actually trying to find pictures for today because, dude, this is perfect if this works. Just so that people have something to look at that is not AI generated. But we are going to do the classic segment, you speak, we regurgitate. And I've got all the pictures I need now. So let's go to you speak, we regurgitate if we got nothing else to talk about.
Okay, so you speak. We can go. This segment is when we read our comments. So
Exactly. So the first comment I wanted to do was actually on the free games and cheap bundles video that was just put out for the just back on Thursday. And this one comes from Al. Let's just say his name's Al Bundy. Just to protect him. It's Al Bundy. Al Bundy commented on this video. He said, "Thanks." And to that I say, you are so welcome, bro. Because you know what? It's all about spreading the word.
mm.
And let's get these games in the hands of everybody. Let's make sure everyone's having fun. So if you don't know about the free games cheap bundles and you're a gamer, you just come here on Thursdays. And I hope whatever we put out, you find it helpful. And you let us know what you got. Let us know what you think. I made a comment on it that I was going to get a key locker, which I did. And honestly, I was disappointed. But you know what? Other people are going to like it. So whatever. It was free. I'm not going to cry. So check out those free games and save yourself some money. Did that sound like AI when I said that at the end? Because that's usually what I think I say at the end of those videos.
Yeah, but I think the fact that the sound quality isn't like crystal clear, and you don't sound like you don't have that robotic, almost too clear sound. What you get with AI, where it sounds too clean almost.
And it doesn't sound like that video that you sent me that one time, whereas like the guy, the lady talking after you put the Bravely Default 2 guide through the AI thing, and they're talking to like, whoa, that's really interesting. That's kind of like that grinding thing on Bravely Default. Yeah, this person came up with a great system that will. Yeah, that was super creepy. But it basically
they take our words and they act like it's their words.
Yeah, like they're having a full on conversation.
Yeah, it's really weird. That's a notebook LM. It's fun to use though, because something like if you give it no direction, you don't know where it's going to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave it no direction, and instead of analyzing our podcast, which is kind of what I wanted, it went and just kind of continued our train of thought. Actually, no, it retreaded our train of thought is actually what it did.
So I just want to close that first comment by saying to the person who left the comment, thanks for commenting and letting us know that you're watching it, and we're going to keep doing it now.
I got a comment over here I want to read. This is from Panda Express, and it's from our UHS video.
Okay.
I've never heard of a movie critic having a decent take backed up by anything more than their opinion. A movie critic is there to give their opinion.
Yes.
We are not teaching film school. If we were teaching film school, then we would pick the movie apart because it had bad lighting and you would not use this fade over here and you would not blah blah blah. Then we wouldn't be using our opinion. We would be using tried and true practices that people have been using for years and years and years. So you're saying that okay, so give me number one, you never heard of a movie critic ever having a decent take back by anything more than their opinion. Give me a movie critic where it's based on what? Scientific fact? What else are you gonna back it on? On motion? What?
When we calculate the length of this movie, there's an imbalance at approximately 2x over y times 52 minutes when you solve for z. I mean, no,
and there's YouTube channels that do this, and this is probably what this guy needs to find. Is he needs to find something like Film Theory, where they can go and say well, realistically, it's impossible for Sonic the Hedgehog to run this fast because of blah blah blah, and they hit you with all the science stuff, or air resistance and yada yada yada. And that's what this guy's looking for. He's not looking for I got the movie he did this far. I'm sorry, this is actually on our review of The Terminal. and he's pissed off because we didn't say it was the greatest movie ever, probably. Because it didn't. We didn't say the movie sucked. Did we say the movie sucked?
The Terminal, it was kind of I think we said it was ho hum overall.
Well, we said it was kind of like in the middle. That's right. That's when we started the whole thumb in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's we've gotten bad takes from people when we say something about a Tom Hanks movie before, because Tom Hanks is apparently the greatest actor who ever walked the face of the planet.
Well,
I like Tom Hanks as an actor. You know, I it's not about him. Everybody's done bad movies. There's not an actor out there where every single one of their movies is a fucking gem. I'm sorry. It does not exist. And this movie is not the worst movie ever made, but it sure is not the best.
Here's what I point out. Here's what I really need to point out is that here's proof that we're not AI. We don't even remember if we gave that one thumbs up or thumbs down. We're like, I don't know what we said on it. We could probably end up doing that again in the Terminal a year or so and not even remember we did it. So there's
No, I think I would remember I did it because I don't want to do it again.
Okay, well then there you go.
Like there's other movies that we've done where I like remember when I messaged you and I said, hey, we should review this movie, and you said we just did it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So there are movies out there where I do forget honestly that I've seen it and we reviewed it.
And you know what that movie was? That was UHF.
Dude, they made it a sequel to Independence Day.
Mm.
We should review.
So I am waiting for the moment where you do forget, so that we can roll out another review of Spice World.
Yeah, that's a pretty memorable one right there, actually. I don't remember what I said about it, but I do remember we did it.
Okay, so I got one more comment that I want to spit out here. This one is actually put on our Naked Gun short. This comes from a guy, we're going to name him Ben See You Again Never. He says, great movie. My response is, hey, can we get this guy banned from from posting, please?
I agree with you. He does some dumb podcast, and we gotta ban that too.
We should ban the podcast he is on, and ban the other person that's on that podcast.
Yes,
just get it out of the way.
Exactly. Just ban it all completely. The guy, his co-host, and they have some guest hosts every once in a while. I can ban all of them.
I'm pretty sure Ben is the co-host on that podcast.
Yeah, but he's co-hosting with this guy, Mike.
That is the main host.
There's no main host.
There's always a main host.
No, it's the show.
Yes, the best Mike show.
That's Mike show.
So I think we're gonna get into reviews. I don't remember what we mentioned we're gonna do. I think we mentioned that I was gonna do a review on something, but I couldn't do it because it's something I'm gonna see with Maria, and unfortunately her dad had to go get a blood transfusion today. So we couldn't do it. We're gonna end up doing it tomorrow. So maybe I'll do it next week. Depending on how much time we have, because next week might be a pretty busy one if everybody is here for it.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, but I ended up doing my thing.
Yes. So do you want to get into the Ben does it so you don't have to?
There I was.
Hold on. Wait.
Oh.
And there it is.
Yep. There I was, sitting in a movie theater, wondering how good is this movie going to be? And also wondering, where the hell ate all my popcorn? Oh, I did. And then I went and I watched it. And I have to say, I'm coming up. Should I do let me do the whole thing. I'm going to jump right into it before I give you my actual opinion on this. I've talked to a few people about this, so I've actually been practicing delivering my opinion.
Uh-huh.
The Naked Gun 2025 is an American comedy film and a reboot of the original Naked Gun series, directed by Akiva Schaffer. Akiva Schaffer. Akiva Schaffer. The film stars Liam Neeson as Frank Drebin Jr., the son of the bumbling detective made famous by Leslie Nielsen. The film is produced by Seth MacFarlane and is expected to blend slapstick humor and modern action comedy sensibilities, reviving the spirit of the classic 1980s parody trilogy. This is all written from the perspective of somebody who hasn't seen the movie. That satires police procedures. Plot details remain under wraps, but early buzz suggests it maintains the zany tone of its predecessors while introducing a new generation of observed police investigations. The film is slated for release in 2025. It actually came out a couple days ago, and I don't think my chat GPT knows that. Okay. Early thoughts on the movie when I saw the first trailer come out. By the way, the first trailer that came out with the little girl going into the bank, that is the beginning of the movie. That is exactly how the movie starts. Almost the complete beginning of the movie show. From seeing that, we were afraid that this movie was going to be awful. That they're gonna take this great franchise and flush it down the toilet. And then Wednesday came around, Wednesday of this past week, and early reviews started coming around. It got a very good score on Rotten Tomatoes. I watched 2 reviews, and both of these reviews really got me psyched up for this movie. Talking about how they get it, and they have it feels just like the original movies. I wish I never watched those reviews. I honestly wish I never watched either one of those reviews because I probably would have enjoyed the movie more. Because I went into this expecting it to be Naked Gun 444 and a quarter or 444 and a fourth.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a completely different animal. It has the only thing that it shares with the original movie is every once in a while there's a joke that's in the same vein and it's named the same thing. There's some running gags in the movie. Okay, so the movie is not a bad movie. It is a good film. My recommendation, wait till it's streaming and watch it there. Don't pay extra to watch this movie. Don't pay to stream it. If it's on your streaming service, watch it. If it's not on your streaming service, find a friend who has that streaming service and borrow their password and watch it that way. Because it's good, but it's not great. It's not in the same vein as the Naked Gun. You could tell it's made by fans of the Naked Gun who don't know how to write a Naked Gun movie. Once in a while they throw a Naked Gun style joke in there, but it's not like joke after joke after joke after joke like the Naked Gun is. The Naked Gun, they have all these jokes, which most of the jokes don't even work, but they're there. Here, they don't even try jokes that don't work. They just they have one preview where they have Pam Anderson and she's in his office and he says, "Take a seat," and she says, "Thank you," and starts pulling the chair out of the office.
Mm-hmm.
The real scene that's cut from is longer and the joke doesn't work. Again, this also happens in that scene where they're showing all those cops and they're in front of the pictures of their dads and they're crying and they have the one where the guy is Nuremberg.
Yeah.
That joke is also longer in the movie, and because it's longer, it ends up not really working as well.
So what you're saying is they knew how to make a great trailer.
The trailer,
A decent trailer.
yeah, they took the jokes that were the most Naked Gun-ish, and made the trailers using those, but most of the movie isn't. They don't get it. They think they get it. And like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's an entertaining movie. I enjoyed the 90 minutes flew by. So it's not like this is a bad film. It's just it's like if you went to a Major League Baseball game and the 2 teams you were expecting to come out and play, it was 2 different Major League teams that came out and play. You went to Yankee Stadium and instead of the Yankees versus the Red Sox, it was the Kansas City Royals versus the Seattle Mariners. You're still at a Major League game.
See,
It's just not the same teams. It's not the right players. It's all different. It's like
Hold on, I got to jump in for a second. I thought you were going to say something along the lines of instead of them coming out to play, it was the Seattle Seahawks and the New York Knickerbockers.
Oh,
Something.
they come out and play basketball. No, it's the same. Like my thing is showing it like it's the same game, and it's in this wrapping of Yankee Stadium, but the wrong teams came out to play.
Yeah.
It does. It's not. Yeah. It. And then they call him Frank Drebin Jr. Okay, so I thought about this. This has the same problem that the Phantom Menace has. And if you go back to what I said about the Phantom Menace, if the Phantom Menace was not a Star Wars movie, it would probably have been a cult classic. It would be remembered more fondly by people because it would just be like, that's a pretty cool sci-fi movie that stands alone on its own. If they just took the Jedi shit out, they called it something else. They just renamed everything. It's the same movie, just nothing to do with Star Wars.
Mhm.
This is the same thing. If they took all the Naked Gun direct references out and just renamed all the characters and ran the same movie, this would be like, oh yeah, that was that comedy movie that's kind of like in the vein of the old 80s. It's like a modern day version of the 80s classic comedy movies. It would be like that. But because they threw the Naked Gun title on it and they named him Frank Drebin Jr., now you're like, yeah, you're getting Phantom Menace syndrome, where
Even worse than that, you could say it's Son of Pink Panther syndrome because it's pretty much the same thing.
I've never seen Pink Panther or Son of Pink Panther, but I'll take your word for it. And it's the same thing where it's like, yeah, they're leaning on the franchise,
Mm-hmm.
and the movie isn't horrible, but because it's being compared to, you're comparing the Naked Gun 2025. If you compare it, the one it mostly compares to is probably either the second or the third one, when
Mhm.
those ones weren't as good. But to compare it to the first one, to take a line from Bobby Heenan, is like comparing ice cream to horse manure.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same, you know? Do I recommend going to see it? Like I said, wait till it's on streaming. Pam Anderson does a good job. The actors do a good job. It's just, it shouldn't be a Naked Gun movie.
Yeah.
That's a crazy cover. He's got hands all over. Where are those hands coming from?
That usually happens to me.
But yeah, so Mike, you dodged the bullet on that one. Oh man, I really wish I didn't watch reviews of it ahead of time. They really got my hopes up. And
I just had that feeling. You just looking at them like this is not Naked Gun, so why do I feel like I'm going to have any connection to this?
yeah, yeah, it's a real shame, real shame. But there you go. When it comes out on Paramount Plus, go to town, folks. I'm assuming it'll be Paramount Plus. It's a Paramount movie. That's another thing that's in a rumor mill is that Paramount Plus and Peacock are going to merge.
Mm-hmm.
I got a feeling that if enough people talk about that, we could will it into existence.
Mhm.
Just saying.
Well, here, I'm going to ask you a question. We've never done this on a review, but I think it's now time to pull this out. So, Ben, what would you say would be the top dollar amount that someone should pay to rent this movie on streaming?
I did think about that. I would not pay extra to see this if it was and if you don't have the streaming service, I would pay less than what it would cost for a month of the streaming service that this would be on.
So, what about $5.99?
Yeah, so like the streaming service is $5.99. I would say like this is maybe $3. No, that's even too much because eventually it'll be $3 to buy it. You can get it for like $1 or $2.
Okay, $1.99.
Yeah, like $1.99.
Okay, so Naked Gun is a $1.99 movie. So obviously, right now we already know it's overpriced.
Yeah, yeah. Cause I would like including popcorn and everything. Cause I got a popcorn and a soda when I went there. I think I paid like $30
Yeah.
total. Yeah. I like the theater I went to. The theater was very quaint. But I was there with like 2 other people.
Mm-hmm.
They said it's a movie to watch in a packed house. Maybe if I was in a packed house, it would have went over with me better. But And I laughed out loud at a lot of moments. There's some good humor in the joke. Like I said, it's not a bad movie. There's nothing in this movie that says this movie sucks. It's just you're. It's like it's like saying the best person who plays at your high school, you comparing him to like one of the guys in Major League Baseball. You know, it's like, yeah, he's good here. But he ain't that. This ain't the Naked Gun. This ain't Airplane. This ain't Zaz. This is not Zuckerberg. This is not Zuckerberg. Not part of it. No, this is not a Zucker Abrams production. Oh, God.
Well, yeah, here's the one thing I really noticed about it that I think that's really what making it miss its mark was if you take the character of Frank Drebin. Frank Drebin, I don't want to say he was stupid. He was just idiotic, clueless.
Well, that's another thing. This movie's a little too smart.
Yeah, and it seems like this character, Liam Neeson's character, is just more of a douchebag.
He gets like dumb. No, not even that. He's actually good-hearted in the movie. He came across as a good-hearted. But number one, the beginning of the movie, they show him he's like a kung fu expert. The one where he walks into the bank and he's dressed like a little girl and he pulls the mask off. That number one that has never, ever, 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 ever happened in any of the police academy. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Any of the Naked Gun movies or Police Squad.
Mm.
And I ended up watching all 3 Naked Gun movies before watching this, including watching half of the Police Squad series. I watched the first 3 episodes. So I schooled myself up in the Naked Gun, which is another thing I shouldn't have done. If I should have went in this without seeing any of the Naked Gun movies ever, possibly, or not in a while. And like I said, that would have helped my thoughts on the movie.
Yeah.
There's just the gags were not there. They're just not there. There were so many times when they like, and also there was times the movie became too serious at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, you pick a lane.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to be everything to everybody, which is not working. If you want to do a Zaz style comedy movie, do a Zaz style comedy movie. Don't do one that's also kind of a little bit like movies that you write normally, you know. And it's yeah, like I said, there's parts where there's no comedy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is supposed to be laugh after laugh after laugh after laugh. It's supposed to be a nonstop laugh fest, and it's not.
Yeah, gotcha.
There's a running gag I love. I like it. Like I said, like I got to keep going back to this. That it's not a bad movie. I enjoyed the film. Before I get hate for it, the running gag is they kept getting cups of coffee. Everywhere they went, somebody handed them a cup of coffee. And if they had a cup of coffee in their hand already, they just threw that cup of coffee and took the new one. I thought that was funny. They ran through the whole movie. It was a nice gag that kind of held them. It was kind of a glue that held the whole movie together in a way. Not that it needed that, but it was like extra glue, I guess, that held the movie a little bit more. And yeah, so if you got any questions or anything else, that's pretty much what I have.
Well, I just want to say that if you do get hate for this, if you guys do want to give Ben some hate for this, good news is you too can be featured on You Speak, We Regurgitate next week. So let the hate fly.
Yeah, let the hate fly. This is the greatest movie ever. What are you talking about? I laughed so hard. Did you ever see the first films? No, I don't have to. I know this is just like them.
So we still have reviews to do. Tonight we're going to get into our main topic, which is top connections, Ben's choices. So sorry, I just totally just jumped into the main topic. I figured, were you done or did you have anything else?
No, we can go right into it.
Okay.
So Mike wanted 2 movies or favorites of mine, and they had to have something to do with each. Like they both had to have something in common.
Yes. So those 2 movies, and we can talk about what that something in common is at the end of it. If people can't figure it out, those 2 movies are Donnie Brasco and The Departed, and that's the 2 we're going to be talking about tonight.
Now, did you watch Donnie Brasco off my server?
I did.
Okay, so you got the extended edition. Yeah, so did I. This might be my first time seeing the extended edition, so that was, or maybe second time seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting. I forgot like what was extended in it.
Yeah. So what we get to do here is, because this is since this is top connections, obviously it's some of our favorite movies. one of us we already know is going to give thumbs up to both the movies. So, but they're still going to get a chance to review it, but we know how they're going to go. So that means that the person that was watching it for the first time, or, wasn't the one that chose it, gets to go first on both of them. And when we get to the top connections for me, same thing here. Ben will get to go first on both of them.
Yep. So are you ready? Which one do you want to do first?
We got to do Donnie Brasco first.
Okay, we're doing it in chronological order. Okay. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Donnie Brasco is a 1997 American crime drama directed by Mike Newell, and it's based on the true story of Joseph D. Pistone, an undercover FBI agent who infiltrated the mafia under the alias Donnie Brasco. The screenplay, written by Paul Antonisio, I'm not even going to keep that, was adapted from the 1988 book Donnie Brasco, My Undercover Life in the Mafia by Pistone and Richard Woodley. The film stars Johnny Depp as Pistone and Al Pacino as Lefty Ruggiero, a low-level mobster who mentors him. As Pistone becomes more deeply entrenched in the criminal underground, his loyalty is tested and his personal life begins to fall apart. The film received critical praise for its performance and realistic depiction of organized crime, and has since become a staple of the gangsta genre. Go ahead.
Okay, so there's a couple things I want to mention before I kind of get into it. One is that I really like when I hear that a movie is based on real events. However, I do kind of question how real those events are, since we are watching a movie. And you know what? I got to change the image, don't I?
Yep.
There we go. So sorry about that, everybody. There's a movie we're talking about now. So I also found out, I don't know if you know this, but what is his name? Is it Joe
Pistone.
Joe Pistone? He was just on the Joe Rogan show about a month ago. I don't know if you're aware of that. So if you're curious to get more information, go look it up. I think it's at the very beginning of July, one of those episodes.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
So at the end of the movie, they say that there's still a $50,000 bounty on his head.
That's the next thing they want to mention. That's where I'm talking about it being realistic, is that from what I read, I think it's $500,000. That might not be in effect, because I think the FBI went after the mafia to have them rescind it. Now, obviously, that they could say, "Oh, well, we won't honor that," but they still might. But I guess in theory, it's not out there. But who knows the absolute truth? The other thing that I wanted to mention is that these types of movies, these mafia gangster movies, are definitely not my style. I mean, I've never watched any Godfathers. I've never watched Goodfellas. I've never watched any of The Sopranos, and I have zero desire to watch any of those. So I think I have to mention that for this episode, because that's essentially what we're going to be talking a lot about. So with that being said, my review is going to kind of be weird, because it's a good movie, really good movie, that I never plan on watching again. And the reason why I never plan on watching again is because of the setting of it, because of the theme, because it's a mafia movie. I sat there and watched it, and I was soaking in. I'm like, I know there's good stuff in this, but I can't connect to it because I don't have interest in this whole mafia thing. It has a whole bunch of massive star power in this movie, but also it's the star power that feels like it's in every type of mafia movie. So it seems like a lot of these mafia movies are the same people kind of being regurgitated again, because that's the roles that they can do. So a lot of like the actual mafia part of it is kind of forgettable to me because of the fact that I'm not into it. But one thing that I really liked about this movie is how it showed the impact that it had on his marriage. I thought that was really well done. I mean, that's something that could have easily been kept out because the main focus is on him being this mole in the mafia to get these guys. So that feels like it's kind of back seat, but that was a part that I gravitated towards the most, because it had such interest in it, because you got that human psyche and how it's breaking down, and sitting there knowing that this is actually somewhat based off a real event. So this could have been what happened in his life, and the price that he's paying for all this time that he's doing this stuff, not just in, being in the criminal world, but watching how it's changing his personality and how it's affecting the person that he's closest to. And that's something I really liked about the movie. The rest of it, I don't really care for. It's good, but it's not worth it to me. I did like, though, the interesting part about that guy Nicky, who I thought he feels like a younger version of Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
The part where they actually offed him, because that's one of those things that really is going to catch you off guard, which I just probably spoiled it if you haven't seen it. Sorry, but you're not going to expect that to happen. So that was kind of good how they did that. But if I'm going to sum this up, I'm going to sum this up in a line that you hear a lot in the movie. And that's my review of Donnie Brasco. Forget about it. But with that being said, I'm still going to give it a thumbs up because technically it is a good movie. But I would say it may just end up being, if you're anything like me, it's definitely going to be a one-time watch. But overall, it may still be a one-time watch.
Hey, this movie here, forget about it. This here, the acting, forget about it. The story, forget about it. It's just, forget about it. That's one of the best scenes in the whole movie is when they're all sitting in a hotel room and you're talking about forget about it and like all the different definitions. And it's literally just the tone of voice and the subject matter. I forgot how much I love this movie.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of mafia movies. Unlike you, I've watched all the ones that you mentioned you've never seen. I've seen all of them.
Yeah.
And this was and continues to probably be my favorite mafia movie. It's just, and watching the extended version, it actually there's more because the extended version has a lot more of what's happening with the marriage and also the lion. In the theatrical version, he gets the line, and that's like the end of the line, and then until you see the line later on at the club down in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
where here they show them like taking the line for a walk down the road and having to stop at a burger place and feed it all the burgers, and then they also spend more time just showing the complexity in his marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Anne Heche plays the wife. She's phenomenal in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Johnny Depp, as much as I hate it when he's Captain Jack Sparrow, he's phenomenal in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Al Pacino, he's great. Michael Madsen is great. They're all great, and they're very. The casting is amazing in this movie. Whoever did the casting, like you just picked the absolute best people, and it just for me really works. I liked what you were talking about. I agree with you of the whole complexity of the marriage and how his life in the FBI. And they show this. They really show this. How the FBI drains the life out of him, and then when he's getting the award at the end of the movie, they say his name wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and that was done to show. Also, like the guy giving the award does not give two shits. He's there for the photo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only reason he's there because to help his campaign or whatever. Like he's like he can't wait to get out of there. He doesn't like other than like just saying hi to everybody and just doing the line like he's at a funeral. It's like if you went to your buddy's mother's funeral, you don't know any of the people there. That's how he acted. Like, he's just like, I'm so sorry for your loss. He's just like, congratulations, your father's a hero. And then, okay, what else is on my agenda for today?
Yes.
And, and that was all done purposely to show that at the end of it, he really doesn't feel like he did good, or did he do good? Does he even know? And what about Lefty and this relationship that he has with Lefty, and just how it's just this bonding thing, and like whether or not, I mean, the character he put, Joe Pistone's persona of Donnie Brasco was an orphan, but was Joe Pistone an orphan as well? Is this truly him actually having a bit like a father figure, or is he more of an older brother? That doesn't really matter though, because he has that relationship with him where at first he's using Lefty to get in there because Lefty's kind of an easy mark. But after a while, yeah, Lefty's an easy mark, but he kind of likes the guy
Yeah.
and he feels sorry for him, especially since he goes from being Lefty's friend who gets in through Lefty to surpassing him.
Mhm.
And, before the whole thing blows up, like, it literally looked like, because Sonny Black, who starts off as the leader of their crew, ends up becoming like the main guy in the family. It really looked like if Donnie Brasco stuck around long enough, he'd be a captain.
Mhm.
And before Lefty,
Yeah.
Lefty would be under Donnie.
Yeah.
And that's literally what, and so you feel bad for that character, you feel bad for the marriage, and you kind of see why he's torn apart through the whole thing. And then the fact, and then there's a part where he ends up hitting his wife, and that's when he realizes, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
This isn't me. And this whole thing's like, and then that's when he opens up to her and says, honey, this is this whole thing I'm dealing with, and I'm like getting torn in all these different directions, because like my job is to take these people down, but in taking these people down, this really great guy who took me under his wing and then had me over to his house for holidays and all this other stuff,
Mhm.
I gotta, he's gonna get killed from what I did, you know? And it ended up, it was a very, very character driven movie with very deep characters. And you come out of it, like, uh, you root for the good guy, but you feel bad that the bad guy lost.
Yeah, true. I'll agree with that one too.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't care about Sonny Black and all them. The rest of them, the rest of the characters, I don't care what they're up to. But like, Al Pacino's character, because that's the one you feel bad about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those are my thoughts really on The Departed. I think it's worth anybody, if you are not Departed. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the script for The Departed. Donnie Brasco. That's my thoughts on Donnie Brasco. I think everybody who if you like mafia movies, especially if you've never seen Donnie Brasco, if you've seen The Godfather, if you've seen Goodfellas, you really should see Donnie Brasco. It's definitely worth a watch.
And make sure, even though it's almost 2.5 hours, it sounds like, make sure to watch the extended cut, because both of us really emphasize that relationship with the marriage. And it sounds like if you just watch the regular version, you're not going to catch that.
Yeah, I mean, the story is there, but there's just they really flush it out.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you can, like, if you sit there as an editor and you watch the extended edition, you can tell why certain stuff got cut,
Mhm.
which I could, because that's what I do. My job is I'm a professional editor. I do like, I can't, because I've seen the theatrical version a bunch of times, and I've only seen the extended version twice. And, the extended the extra scenes really stuck out, and I could, like, yeah, I can see why they cut this.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it does help in my, it's not like in what's the name of that one? Daredevil. In the Daredevil extended edition, they added that
thing.
whole, what's that?
Same. That was the same movie I was thinking about, with all the stuff that was cut from it. That
Yeah, in that one they cut this entire story with Coolio, but when you watch it back, you're like, it didn't really add anything. It was
See,
at the
I
I
thought
don't
the
think it, what's that?
I thought the opposite. I thought it added a whole bunch of. I thought it added a whole bunch to the character of Matt Murdock that you don't pick up.
I mean, maybe, but for me, when I watch it, I'm like, yeah, it's a whole storyline that was missing, but does it really change anything about how I thought about the characters? And it doesn't. But then again, I've watched Daredevil in cartoons and stuff, so I already had like an established thought of what Daredevil was. So
Yeah.
maybe that's why. But yeah, it's
I read the comics. I read the comics all when I was a kid. So for me, it was kind of like a little more justification on the whoever the writer or whoever was adding it in, knowing a little bit more about the character of Matt Murdock.
yeah. If you get the Blu-ray version of Donnie Brasco, I got this one in a 2-pack. You'll get the extended edition in the 2-pack. So it's not one of those where like both versions of the movie are on the same disc. It's either you get the extended version or you don't. Any more thoughts?
No more thoughts for me.
Okay, are we ready to move on?
We are ready to move on. Picture is changing now.
The Departed is a 2005 American crime thriller directed by Martin Scorsese and written by William Monahan. It is a remake of the 2002 Hong Kong film Eternal Affairs and stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, and Mark Wahlberg. The film is set in Boston and follows two moles, one working undercover in the Irish mob for the Massachusetts State Police, and the other embedded in the police force by the mob. As each infiltrator tries to uncover the other's identity, the tension escalates in a violent game of cat and mouse. The film was critically acclaimed, winning 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director for Martin Scorsese, his first Oscar win, and Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. Mike?
Okay, so first thing, I get to correct you on something. So here's the thing about The Departed. Now, there are 3 types of people who have watched The Departed. There is, and the major majority group of them, people that have watched the movie that have no idea it's based off of Infernal Affairs. That's Infernal, by the way, not Internal. Just to let you know.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Just wanted to let you know in case you mentioned that.
Infernal. Hold on. So for the recording, Infernal Affairs.
Yes. The second group are the people that know that it's based off of Infernal Affairs and don't really care. Third group are the people that know it's based off Infernal Affairs and have decided to watch Infernal Affairs or had watched Infernal Affairs prior to seeing it. You can probably guess which category I'm going to fall under. So, what's that?
I'm assuming you've seen Infernal Affairs.
Okay, yep, I've seen Infernal Affairs. So here's the story with this, because there's kind of a story with The Departed. I don't remember when this movie came out, but I'm assuming it's around maybe 2005 or 2006.
2006.
2000. Okay. The reason why I know that is because I went to go see this movie with my work team during a work day because we decided to do this as a team bonding. So we got some time to leave the office, still get paid, and go see a movie, and we chose The Departed. I ended up, when it was out on DVD, Maria hadn't watched it, so I got off Netflix, and that's when I found out about it being based off Infernal Affairs. And at that time, I was starting to gather a whole bunch of like Asian style movies. Being that, Maria enjoyed the movie, I thought it was good. I went to go see Infernal Affairs just to see how the two compared. So here's one problem I want to mention with The Departed that I was really worried about. They did solve it, but Martin Scorsese got a lot of awards for this. When I started watching it this time, I wanted to keep an eye out for something because I didn't remember anything being mentioned, so I was worried about he might have scored those awards by getting a word that starts with P that rhymes with plagiarism. But he does put a little blurb in like the very end. So I was happy about seeing that. It's just kind of, it's kind of awkward to hear it written by somebody and, wins this award, wins that award, but it's not really well known that it's based off this other movie. So I do have to bring in the other movie into this review. I think it's very important that we kind of compare and contrast things about them. First off, this movie, I feel like The Departed, I'm going to say it is a good movie. It is worth seeing. It's a very violent movie too, just for anyone who can't handle that. It's also a very long movie.
Mm.
And Infernal Affairs isn't a very long movie. This movie I think is about 2.5 hours long. Infernal Affairs cuts it down to about 1 hour and 40 minutes. So you're looking at like 40 minutes of story that's in The Departed that's not in Infernal Affairs. The difference is the very beginning. Infernal Affairs really races through the beginning, whereas this one tries to develop a lot of the backstory with how the one that's the actual cop got connected to the bad guy boss. Infernal Affairs really doesn't do that. And just to kind of give you an idea, I'm sure you remember the part where they're in the movie theater passing the envelope of all the information and social security numbers. That happens within about 45 minutes of Infernal Affairs. So you can see how much rust that beginning is. But I will say that Infernal Affairs does a few things better than The Departed that are highly worth mentioning. Because overall, as far as movies go, the quality of the movie, the story, and everything, The Departed really wins a lot in that category, but it misses the mark on some major things. First thing is that the death of Martin Sheen's character. If I were to compare the death between the two of them in each movie, The Departed feels super hollow. It's just kind of like splat done. Oh no. But in Infernal Affairs, it is a lot more moody. It's a lot more depressing. You just like feel it. And it does that part so well. Departed doesn't get that. Departed just wants to do it because it's a part of the story and it's a major change. And that's what it feels like to me. The other thing that it does, Infernal Affairs does better is it doesn't have that relationship where it's the same woman seeing both of them basically. Instead, you have on the cop side, you have a woman who's kind of there because they have a strong relationship. And then on the undercover side, it is the doctor. And they're forming this relationship. So you see the impact of her losing him and her kind of knowing that that's why, what actually caused it. And then the one on the other side, this cop side, is kind of clueless to it all, but knows kind of something's wrong. I think that does a lot better rather than having this weird triangle that just doesn't feel like it fits well. And then the third thing, and this is a major thing, because I really couldn't pick this up at all in The Departed. But when watching Infernal Affairs, you can pick it up so easily, is that we all know who kills the bad boss, but why? And it doesn't feel like The Departed really explains why. Whereas Infernal Affairs, it really pushes you to show this is a guy that really wants to be good, but he's trapped in this bad situation. And after taking out the boss, you can see he's really doing a push to be good. And when they get to the point where the undercover guy is they're having the funeral and he goes up to the gravestone. I think he gives some sort of medal or something at the gravestone or something like that. You can see the impact of seeing that guy dead on him and how he wants to change so bad. And Infernal Affairs doesn't have that ending. There actually isn't that Mark Wahlberg character in it. So it doesn't have that ending that The Departed had. Instead, Infernal Affairs focuses on something different. It focuses on what it calls like the never-ending hell, which is where you're trapped in this situation where all these things have happened and you can't get out of that feeling. So it basically ends with this cop is now stuck in this hell of what he's basically created, and he has to live this now day to day. So The Departed didn't have that because they take him out. So there's some differences, and I highly recommend watching Infernal Affairs if you like The Departed. But as far as Departed goes, I think that even though it's longer, I think that there's a lot that's well put together with it. I think that there's a lot of images that you won't ever forget. Like, for instance, the elevator door opening. And overall, I think it's a pretty good movie. I definitely give this a thumbs up, but I would encourage anyone to watch both of them to see the differences and see which one you think works better.
Yeah, I've never seen Infernal Affairs. So this is supposed to be like, I don't know if it's loosely based or like based. I mean, obviously loosely based on a Shakespeare play.
Which play?
I don't know. Let me ask my assistant over here. The Departed is based on Shakespeare. I'm gonna ask it as a question and see what it tells me. Also, I think I spelled Shakespeare wrong. That's okay. I'll know what I mean. Not directly based on Shakespeare, but the idea isn't entirely off base. Okay. So it's not. I thought it was, because I thought that's why he went and mentioned that whole thing with Shakespeare in the beginning. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, anyways, not that that's important. I thought that this was a great film. It's not like, I mean, Donnie Brasco, I think, is a better mafia movie, because this is also considered, at least to me, to be a mafia movie, because it does the Irish mafia. I love Cat and Mouse. And for some reason, apparently so does Leonardo DiCaprio, because it's the second one of these cat and mouse movies we're reviewing.
Yeah.
And the whole thing of like they're so close to each other so many times, but then they keep missing each other, and they're both sleeping with the same woman. And Jack Nicholson's character in this, he is just phenomenal. It's almost like when he's playing the Joker in Batman. It's
Yeah.
very similar style to his acting in this. And it's just the story, it just keeps you on the edge of your feet, edge of your seat. It's not one of those where you're rooting for the bad guy, because you do want Matt Damon to get it. But you're rooting for Leonardo DiCaprio's character, and everything just kind of works against him. And it's a good film. It's a good film in so many aspects. It's not based on a true story, so something like you said, it's based on internal, I keep calling it Infernal Affairs, which I have to watch now.
Mhm.
Uh
There's 3 of them, actually, just so you know, but this one's just based off the first.
okay. And you see these the demons. It does show some of Matt Damon's characters, some of the demons that he has to face too. His character was named Colin. They show a little bit of what he had to deal with too. Like he ends up losing the girlfriend because she finds out that he's really working with the mafia. And there's no other than like Martin Sheen, Mark Wahlberg, yeah, like the good guys are like the cops. They really
Yeah.
do push that. Is it really the cops are the good guys in this movie? Which I don't know if that's political or whatever. But
Well, I think one thing that it does well is that it makes kind of the good guys look like the bad guys, and the bad guys kind of look like the good guys in a way.
Hmm.
Because the character of like Mark Wahlberg is just a complete D-bag.
but
But he
at
has
the
to,
beginning of the movie, when he's doing that to Leonardo DiCaprio, that's all done on purpose. He's doing that because he wants him to break. Because if he doesn't break after me doing this to him, this might be the guy we're looking for.
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It does a good job of that. You still feel like I wouldn't want to be this guy's friend. And at that point, Mark Wahlberg had said something about, I'm the only friend you have, or something like that.
And then later on in the movie, he starts writing him, and then you start feeling bad, like really bad for the Leonardo DiCaprio character. I forget what was his name.
Oh, I don't remember.
Shoot, I forget what the name was. Like we just I know the character name from one of the characters, the other one I don't remember. But yeah,
Danny Brasco.
really?
No, I just tried to throw that out there.
No. You feel bad for him because yeah, he's trying to and then he tries to get out, and then Martin Sheen's character, who's like the only real person who's there to help him, and he's like a father figure to him, and he ends up getting killed, and it's like, and then at the end of it, like, then he's dealing with Matt Damon as his contact, and Damon is screwing him over completely, and throughout his file, and then he's like, like it's a tragedy, which is probably why people get the Shakespeare. It's got the Shakespeare vibes on it because literally, like the hero of the movie doesn't make it to the end,
Yeah.
and that is so Shakespeare. So that's probably why I thought that's why I had the Shakespeare vibes, and I thought this was based off a Shakespeare play. But yeah, it's star studded. Where like Donnie Brasco was more like kind of like, I don't want to say it was like an underground movie, but it was not as big as The Departed. When The Departed came out, this movie caused waves. You heard about it. Martin Scorsese, the acclaimed Martin Scorsese directing a movie, and like this all-star cast: Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio. Only person missing was if Tom Hanks was in the movie.
I mean, it's a thumbs up then. But here, put it this way: the one difference between Donnie Brasco and this, Donnie Brasco is more of a movie that wants to be a mafia movie that's telling a story. This feels like it wants to be more of a movie,
Yeah.
something that you're going to go and it's going to be a big event.
Yeah, this is done by like one's done by a storyteller and the other one's done by a filmmaker.
Yeah, exactly.
To the work it that way. Yeah, and so it's that's why, like I said, Donnie Brasco is still, to me, I prefer, if I was like, oh, you want to watch a mafia movie, you want to watch The Departed or Donnie Brasco, I'm like, well, we can't do both. We'll do Donnie Brasco.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we both give it a thumbs up. We give both movies a thumbs up.
Yes, I give them both a thumbs up. Of course, Donnie Brasco, I'd say still kind of one time. Departed kind of maybe a one time, but that's only because of the themes of them. And if you're a mafia fan, then I'm gonna say ignore what I said about them being one time. You're gonna watch them multiple times.
Yeah. Also, it's got a killer soundtrack. For
Which one?
Departed. Actually, both of them do.
Hmm.
But The Departed has like, it's more modern day, and it's got like that Irish pop. What is that? Like ska, like rock, hard rock, ska? I don't even know what genre of rock that is, but it's really awesome. And then you have Donnie Brasco, which has like this 1970s soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like there's songs in the Donnie Brasco movie I heard for the first time while watching that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So take that as you will. And then they became like, they're not my favorite songs of all time, but they became favorites. Where like if it comes up on a radio, like, oh, this is a good one,
So I have a question regarding The Departed that maybe you can solve. Two questions actually. First question is probably the easier one, or actually is more of a question here. Is I don't know if they just dropped the ball or forgot about it, but I remember he gave the lady, the doctor lady, an envelope, and said to hold on to it. But I don't think that was the same envelope that when she got the mail that she was going through. I thought it was a different envelope. And if it was, then they just they did the envelope scene, and maybe that's a cutting room floor part where she opens it later and finds more information. But I could be.
You did open it. That's where she got the tape from.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. I thought that was something that actually.
I know she had the tape that she listened to, and bro, that the tape was a different envelope. That was one that he sent. Okay.
Yeah. So what happened to the other envelope?
Oh, so his name was William Costigan, I think. So he goes and he sends. So what happened is when Jack Nicholson's character died, he had left instructions with his lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And his lawyer instead of handing the stuff over to Colin, handed it over to William.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he, instead of handing it over to his guy in the police, he handed it to the police guy who's in the mafia because he didn't trust Colin enough to give it to him.
Yeah.
And it was filled with tapes that Jack Nicholson's character had recorded of conversations, the phone call conversations that he had. And the girlfriend, she knows both of them. So she sees the return name on the envelope and it's like, oh, I know who this is. Why is he sending this here? He's my patient. I'm just going to open it. And she immediately breaks the law and opens up somebody else's mail.
But that was a different envelope than the one that he actually gave to her.
Yeah, I think that one was another envelope where that one had more stuff that she could use. I don't think she even used it. I don't think she
it's like they just kind of dropped that whole part from the movie after they showed her getting the envelope.
Yeah, that none of you, I didn't think about it before, but now you bring it up, it does seem kind of like it was unneeded.
Yeah.
Because if she's going to find out anyways, but it might be something that it might be like you said, got deleted.
Mm.
And maybe it was more important that he shows up and it shows that they still have a connection going on than anything else. Maybe it was just to show the relationship's still there. Because why else would you keep the scene in there?
Exactly.
And it did get a review. It did get an award for editing. So that like that maybe that's what the editor looked like. Maybe he said as well, like this scene technically isn't needed except it shows this emotional aspect, and they have to show that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a more artsy film than Donnie Brasco is. Donnie Brasco feels like it's a movie that came out in the 90s, but it feels like a 70s movie. Where The Departed feels like it's one of the, it feels almost timeless. It's like, it feels like it's in the same vein as The Godfather in the way it's filmed.
Yeah.
Not like, not soundtrack wise, but just the way it's filmed. It's filmed like by a filmmaker. A filmmaker made The Departed. A storyteller made Donnie Brasco.
And I'm going to bring that up too, because when you say a storyteller, this is the second thing that I want to point out about this movie is when the one guy that gets shot is laying on the couch and he says his name was William, goes over to him and he says something along the lines of, I gave you the wrong address.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. That's a little confusing. He gave him the wrong address. The guy was an undercover cop with the Boston Police Department.
Mm-hmm.
And what I didn't get is, if I told you the wrong address, how did you know where the right address is? Only thing I could think of is that he assumed that he called and checked with somebody else after getting off the phone with him to make sure that the address was correct. Or he mentioned it, or he didn't trust the guy.
On the lines, he just played it off simple because he grabbed for his gun like he was going to shoot him or something. He could just play it off. Yeah, the house number, the building number is 414. You sent me 411. I walked in that building, no one was there, so I was walking around trying to figure it out. And
you see a dead body falling from one of the buildings, and you figure, well, this must be the place.
Exactly, and he really wasn't even at the building door. He was kind of in that intersection.
Yeah, so I mean, literally, like, who's to say that building? It was building 311 wasn't across the street or right next to it.
Exactly.
The buildings weren't right next to each other. That's like, yeah, he gave the wrong. That was like another thing that was like, why is that even there? There's some certain stuff in the movie. It's like, is it to add to realism where there's certain stuff in your life that doesn't really make sense, but it's part of it? Like, like when someone tells a story and they give you a detail that that's not really needed. Is that why? I don't know. It's like the envelope again. These are two things in the movie that weren't really needed to be there.
Well, I think that this one and like we mentioned, the other one was to build kind of a thought process of this is what's going to happen. He's realizing this person is the mole.
Yeah.
But I think that when you stack it up against all of the other storytelling that's done in this, it stands out as just being a little too weak.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, you can't have everything perfect. So there are going to be olds here and there.
But hey, forget about it.
Exactly.
Forget about it, dude. If you've never seen any part of Donnie Brasco, and you have, if you ever see the movie, the one scene that you're gonna want to show to your friends is the forget about it scene. That's like, I should clip that and put that up on YouTube if it's not there already, It is just forget about it. It's great. It's a great scene.
And if you haven't seen anything in The Departed, you are going to want to see the elevator door scene, because that'll catch you off guard and you'll never forget that scene.
Yep. You know, you thought you're the only one he has on the inside.
What's that?
You thought you were the only one he has on the inside.
Exactly.
Yep. Oh, that's how that cookie crumbled. You got anything else on this?
That's it for me. So next week, is there anything else you want to mention before I start doing the next week?
No, go ahead.
Okay, yep. Next week we are doing something interesting. We are going to be talking about musicians, and essentially musicians that, let's say you go to a party and somebody is talking about a band and they're like, AC/DC. Sorry, I don't mean to, you'll understand what I'm saying. AC/DC, yeah, they're the guitarist. What's their guitarist name now? I can't even think of it.
Angus Young.
Angus Young, yeah, Angus Young, man, he is awesome. Man, I love this the licks that he throws down, and then you turn around and say, yeah, but what about Joe Johnson of No Sound Needed? Man, he is just awesome too. And they just look at you like, who the heck is that? That's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about musicians that are talented at what they do, but nobody ever talks about them.
Or in case it's some of mine you might never have heard of.
Exactly. And I'll be honest with you, that was one that I was kind of like, I don't know, but actually that's going to be interesting. So I want to bring it in.
I love that you used AC/DC as your example, but that was my original set of picks. So I actually did pick Angus Young.
I know. I love that. I looked over the list. I'm like, well, 3 of 4, I definitely know. But it's just AC/DC was the first band I thought of just in that second. And right when I said it, I'm like, he's going to think I'm picking on him.
And what's great about Angus Young is they had an interview with him one time. And it's one of the things like they're trying to get to know the musician type of thing. And they go, in your opinion, who is the greatest guitar player ever? And without even thinking about it, he goes, I am.
There you go. That's pride for you.
And I was like, you know what? I don't know if he's joking or 100% serious, but I appreciate that answer.
So let me do this again without picking on you. Let's say you at a party, you say, man, that Metallica, they're awesome, especially their guitarist, Kirk Hammett. He's amazing.
It's Hammett. Hamlet's in the name of a play.
Kirk Hammett.
Helmet.
I'm never going to get his last name right, so I just call him Kirk Hammett. It is what it is.
Kirk Cameron.
Kirk Cameron. Yes, Kirk Cameron in Metallica. I would approve of that.
That would be awesome. If Kirk Cameron went and joined Metallica. They'd have to do some Christian songs, but
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Man. He does movies.
Take my hand. We're off to the Holy Land.
Oh boy.
We're off to the promised land. 40 days or 40 years.
40 days, 40 nights. No food, not a bite. All right. Are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay, so Mike, do you want the last word or could I take it?
You know what? You can go ahead and take it because I hope it's the same last word as me. If it's not, give it a second afterwards. But if it's not, then I'm gonna say the last word.
Okay. Forget about it.